Kevin Stewart, the CEO of the Carollina Museum of the Marine, and it is an absolute honor and a privilege to provide you a sneak peek of such an important project in this community. And I'll tell you up front, without a doubt, we would not be here today without the support of this local community and all of you. So to have you here tonight, it means a lot. A lot of our public and elected officials here, Onslow County Commissioners, Senator Lazzara, unbelievable what you've done for us, and God bless you, and thank you so much. I'll tell you, we're going to do a lot of initial renderings and pictures and so forth. I would tell you these are still being refined, so it's to give a sample of what things are to come, kind of lets you know the storyline, the concept, and where we're going. And then most importantly, though, we want your feedback. There are surveys that you should have gotten when you came in. If you hadn't got one, make sure you get one. There is an email on that survey, so if you don't fill it out today, you can fill it out, email it, send it to us. If you fill it out and you think of something else that you want to provide to us, then send us back that feedback. That's really what tonight is to give you a sneak peek of what we're doing, but more importantly, to get you to get your feedback. Before I get going too far, I'll just introduce myself so you know who the hell this guy is standing up here. My dad was a United States Marine, and I always say, the best gift that he gave me was a love of country and a tremendous example of selfless service and to serve your country. I lived here at Lejeune, went to TT2 and Brewster Middle School. I went to NC State. I joined the Marine Corps. I was stationed here several times throughout my career. Retired in 2021 and chose to live in this area. So for me, I love the Marine Corps. I love North Carolina. And I love this area, and I'm damn proud to be a part of this project. And it's great to show you some things of what is to come going forward. Well, thank you. So right up front, this is our commitment to you. We're going to deliver a world-class museum that this community is proud of. And I talk about it in terms of opportunity and responsibility. What an opportunity to be involved with an organization that's going to honor, preserve, and teach the legacy of Carolina Marines and sailors. What an honor to be involved in something that showcases the Marine example to inspire future generations. Showcase the Marine example to inspire future generations. That is, one hell of an opportunity to be involved in. Same time, opportunity comes with responsibility. And I will tell you that that's a responsibility that we take very serious, is to ensure that we deliver a museum that this community is proud of, and that every Marine and sailor, past or present, that walks through there leaves with their head held high going, that captured everything that it means to be a Marine, and you're proud of it. That's our commitment to you, and we're well on our way to doing that. I'll tell you right up front, we've got the full endorsement of the Marine Corps. It is no longer a question of if this is happening. That's a done deal. It is happening. The Commandant of the Marine Corps, and I'll read this because it's a great quote from him directly. I am proud of the work the state and local officials in North Carolina are doing to show the public the valiant and honorable history of our United States Marines through the Carollina Museum of the Marine. Camp Lejeune is fortunate to be part of Jacksonville and the surrounding communities. I don't think you could say it much better than our Commandant has said it. Full support of the Commandant of the Marine Corps, unbelievable. Again, no longer if, but when. To that point, I'm inviting you all right here, 17 May, our groundbreaking ceremony. It's in the works. Official invites to come out later this month. Groundbreaking ceremony's happening. Like I said, it's happening. Groundbreaking ceremony in May, and you'll start seeing construction, fences, equipment beginning in June. So just kind of a real quick overview of the project. As I said, in June, we'll start the actual construction, but the ceremony will be 17 May. We've got a tremendous team in place. Our exhibit designer, Ralph Applebaum Associates, and we'll show you some of the exhibits that they started to produce. An architect, CJMW, HiCaps, our construction management, and Samet, our general contractor. And Samet has already lined up all the subs. So all the subs are identified, under contract with the general contractor. So every pre-construction activity and all that plan, that's really been a significant amount of work for the museum team. All that's in place, ready to break ground and get this thing moving. Simultaneously, though, not are we just planning to build the museum, we're really working through all the requirements to sustain and successfully operate a museum for years to come. It's not just good enough to build the museum. We need to be ready to run it, operate it, and so that first visitor that walks in there leaves with one hell of an experience and is going to come back and share positive reviews. And we're on our way to making all that happen. Talk about just some of the key features, because when I say world-class, and I think when you see some of these pictures, you'll understand that. But for people that don't know, the Lejeune Memorial Gardens, an unbelievable location with monuments that pay tribute to our nation's heroes. And this museum has a beautiful spot in that gardens that will become the crown jewel of Lejeune Memorial Gardens. It will be a museum experience that will inspire future generations. We're going to have a beautiful, great hall, and I'll show you some pictures for events. Planning factor to be able to do a 350-person sit-down dinner in the Great Hall. A tourist donation. I think the positive economic impact in this local community is tremendous. It will be a draw. It'll be a place that people want to come and see. We will have educational and cultural opportunities that will enhance living in this area. There'll be things that people are desiring that we don't have that we will be able to deliver, events and so forth. And also just important to recognize that there's an American Association of Museum standards of what it takes to run and operate a museum. And we're focused on achieving those standards from day one. We've already got a plan in place to do that. So again, it's not just building a museum, it's sustaining a museum, and it's operating a museum the right way from the start. You see our tagline, and it's Meet the Marine, Be Inspired. And so I often get the question, well, be inspired to do what? And this is the answer to that question. Be inspired by the accomplishments of the Marines and sailors who have given of themselves in the service of our nation. Uphold the principles that our veterans fought for: freedom, justice, and democracy. And I'm going to read every word on this slide because I think it's important. Honor and remember the sacrifices of our nation's defenders. Strive to make our nation a better place for all. Serve our nation to make a difference and give back to future generations. serve others, think critically, live with honor, courage, and commitment. And I show these and I talk about these because these are the driving principles and things that you will experience throughout the museum. So it's not just a tagline, meet the Marine, be inspired, but it is a conscious effort to design the museum in a way that achieves this. So how are we going to do that? One of the ways is this concept of meet the Marine. And so you'll have the traditional historical storyline experience of different events. But more important, there will be Marine stations throughout that are representative of that timeline that offer a personal and unique experience of their story that correlate back to those things we just talked about in terms of inspiring future generations. We think that's going to be really unique and special. We're still refining the specific list of those Marines, but I'll just start to give a little bit of an example of a few of them, and I'm going to go very, very quickly, but Michael Carcietta, I'll tell you, this Marine was actually introduced to us, and it pains me to say it because today was his funeral, but Sergeant Major Grant Beck. And he was a local hero in this community, and he introduced us to this very important family. And I think he's representative of the notion that, every Marine's important, every Marine has a story. We have his personal diary of the events when he was driving that LVT tractor, forging his way to take Iwo Jima.
We have his daughter right here.
His family's right here. So thank you for being here. A lot of people don't realize that the 4th Marine Division trained here, deployed from here. We have their colors that they carried with them into battle. In fact, the 4th Marine Division came back to this area in 2015 to retire their colors. We have a host of artifacts from the 4th Marine Division. This is just one example of that 48-star flag. Another Marine, Joseph Blick, a Korean War hero, Navy Cross, Vietnam veteran, and maybe some of you all know, but just was also a key part of the local community for years as well. Sergeant Major Huff, don't need to say any more than just saying the first African-American Sergeant Major. Damn impressive Marine. Michael Sinek, this Marine died on Guadalcanal. This bracelet he made during that battle, and you may not be able to see it closely, but he's got etched on there, Mom and Dad. And this is just a way to pay tribute to a Marine that gave his life and sacrificed for his country for the freedoms that we enjoy. The role that women played in World War II is unbelievable and often not highlighted as much as it should be. And also people don't remember and reflect on the role that other places in eastern North Carolina played during World War II. Edenton was a place that played a significant role in terms of operational training. Margaret Haneker was taught celestial navigation. She supported those Marines that were training to prepare to go forward, and we have several of her artifacts as well, and just a great individual woman who made tremendous sacrifices in support of our country. So again, just a sampling of some of the Meet the Marines. And the thing that I would say about this list, they're going to be of all ranks, all demographics, some famous, some not famous, but all representative of those values and principles that we hold dear. And it goes back to that concept of using the Marine experience to inspire future generations. So the next slides, I'm going to start moving into pictures of the building and into some of the different exhibits. So again, here's the first rendering of the building. You can see the eagle globe and anchor that exists there today that was done with the Phase 1 funding. A beautiful courtyard area. The stained glass windows that you may not be able to see, those represent major campaign ribbons that Marines and sailors from this area have supported. Award-winning design as well from the architects. And next few slides are just some additional pictures. Actually, this one here, first of all, is just the floor plan and the layout. The one thing I'd say, it's going to have a cafe and retail shop. You can see you kind of enter into the Great Hall, and then the red arrow is the visitor journey through the actual exhibits. In the center, there's actually 2 large classrooms. Lots of opportunity in terms of how we utilize those classrooms, interacting with local schools, different community events, other types of professional education, etc. So again, another picture of the building from a kind of a different view. Again, you can see the eagle globe and anchor that exists today in the flow. I'll just kind of move through these very quickly. This one you'll see a little bit different because this one has the bus and the bronze statue, and that is being planned for the museum. That bus, and the bus is a pretty iconic feature for every Marine for a variety of reasons, but that's a 1930s bus that was actually used here at Lejeune when the base was first being built to move the workers around, move Marines around. And so we have that bus now, and it will be prominently displayed in front of the museum. And that bronze statue is something that's being developed. And the interesting thing about the way that is the idea is that you can't see whether it's a family that's returning home from deployment or whether they're saying goodbye and the individual service member is going off to a deployment. So we think that will be kind of a nice additional area to the courtyard park. There'll be chairs, benches, and so forth in that area as well. This is the entrance to the museum. So as you enter, and then off to the left, or your right, that will be the entrance to the retail and cafe shop. And again, you enter into the Great Hall. This is a sampling of the cafe and the retail shop in terms of what it will look like. A picture of the Great Hall, kind of from another angle, the longer angle. This is where it's set up for events. As I said, 350-person sit-down dinner as the planning factor. This is just another rendering of the Great Hall because it's in some of the other ones it looked pretty, sterile and open. There will actually be some exhibits in the Great Hall. So the Jeep is a fully restored Vietnam-era Jeep. It was donated to us by Matt Raymond, Sanders Ford. It's actually on display in his dealership here in town. And then those are the 4th Marine Division colors that were carried forward into combat there to the left. And then just on the wall in the actual Great Hall, the words honor, courage, and commitment in bronze letters will be placed on the wall for just an added special touch. So again, just adding some unique touches to that Great Hall to give it a very special level of character when you're doing those events. And then you can still see in this one the campaign ribbons in terms of how the light comes in and shines in on the other wall, just a unique design feature. So now we're going to go into the different galleries, and I'll walk you into each one. This first one is the entrance into the exhibit area. and it's called the World Warriors. And the idea with this is it's a kind of like a tubular-like hallway that you come through, and very ominous war clouds on the horizon, challenges for our country. And at the end of the tunnel, is a light. And that light represents the United States Marine Corps, always ready, always faithful to respond to our nation's challenges. Very immersive sounds, everything that provide that kind of all the senses experience. So again, just another example, another rendering. Some of these are still being refined specifically, but conceptually, that's what's the initial entrance into the gallery. So after you make that initial entrance, now you're in the first gallery, which is titled Marines Come from the Sea. So this is all about sense of place. Why here? Why the Carolinas? The original landowners. The whole story of training here, amphibious operations, and deploying to the Pacific. This area doesn't get enough credit. This area, Camp Lejeune, the surrounding areas, does not get enough credit for the role that it played in winning World War II and putting our nation on the path that it was on, and in every successive conflict that we've been involved in. Now, this area was chosen because we knew we needed to have to go fight in the Pacific and take it to the enemy. And they needed a place to do that. And they chose Camp Lejeune, and the Marines came here, trained amphibious operations, honed their skills, deployed forward, and won the freaking war, and set our country on a damn incredible path that we've been on. So pretty special. So this is that kind of depiction of that gallery. That LVT was actually used in support of Marines that trained here at Camp Lejeune. You may not be able to see it, but above the LVT, those are actually screens and video, and again, another kind of immersive experience. So as you walk into the LVT, you'll actually kind of feel like you're there in terms of, aircraft flying over, heading towards the beach. Another just a example of some of the exhibits that are being designed in that same gallery. So from that gallery, we move into the next gallery, which is Marines, Family, and Community. And this community plays such a significant role in the story, and so it will be one of the focal points to capture that unique connection and bond between the community and the Marine Corps. Everyone talks about, Beirut, that it really brought that sense together, but I would say, that's been a long-standing relationship that's critical, and as the Marine Corps has grown, this community has grown. And then, the families, the families and the role that they play. I always said, it's a hell of a lot harder to be, married to a Marine, the son or a daughter of a Marine, than it is to be a Marine. And so it's important that we capture the roles of our families as well. So community and family will be a key piece to this. And then we have this kind of the day in the life of a Marine. The way we have kind of framed that, we talk about what they wore and where they lived, and kind of have displays that capture those key elements. So again, just another example of some of the initial renderings. Letters home. We have some incredible letters that service members have sent to their families. And in one example is a letter that the family received after they learned that their service member was killed in action. So I think this is going to be another great testament and an emotional experience as you see some of these different letters that have been written. So after we leave that, we next go into meeting new challenges. And so this kind of takes you to the Cold War, the global war on terrorism, kind of up to present day in terms of all the different events that took place, Vietnam, Grenada, et cetera, et cetera. So that'll focus on those actions in that era. Again, just an initial depiction. We have or I would say to Lisa, we're getting the Osprey, working through that. There is the Huey that's in there. We do not have the Huey, so we're working Plan B for that in terms of the design, but everything else we do have. The one interesting feature on this, if you look closely at the bench, they're actually talking about using the material of a handle of a K-bar will be the actual bench material. So that's just one example of some of the very kind of unique design features that they're starting to capture in terms of building this. And then, innovation and adaptability will be a key part of this exhibit. Everyone knows in the Marine Corps, adapt and overcome, figure it out, make it happen. So really going to talk about that. Also in this area, I don't think people recognize the role that it played in terms of the development of the Osprey and tilt rotor aircraft and things like that. So that'll be captured. The changes in communication, changes in command and control, changes in medical. There will definitely be we talk Marines and sailors, so there'll definitely be a Navy component. So we'll have the medical innovations that have taken place over the years, the whole IED fight and that back and forth and personal protective equipment and things like that. We definitely want to be able to tell that story of the innovations and adaptability that the Marine Corps has incorporated from its, in the beginning. And then as you leave that, you go to the last exhibit area, and it's called Always Faithful. And I put back up on there the Meet the Marine, Be Inspired, and those key points. Because as you went throughout the journey, as we went through all these exhibits, and you didn't see them in the renderings, but in each one of those you'll have the different Meet the Marine stations that we talked about. And throughout, up until this point, you've met them all individually, and you learn their individual stories and their individual values and what they're representative of. At this point, though, all the individual ones come together. Because as everyone knows, you don't do anything as an individual, it's a team. And so now you bring all those different Meet the Marines together. And this is just a picture, but this is really going to be a very immersive video production to reinforce all those values that you learned and saw throughout, with really the singular goal of when you walk out that exhibit for the final step, that your head is held up a little higher and your chest is pumped out, and you're damn proud to be an American, and you have just such a tremendous appreciation of what every Marine that served their country and that continues to serve, the honor and respect for their sacrifices. That's what that is going to do in terms of sending you out with just a little freaking extra pump in your step to go off and do some great things in this community and in our country. So as always, you get the question, how can you help? I would ask you to get on our website, explore its content. We're always trying to put out more things. One of the things we were doing there for a while was capturing interviews with veterans. We have a host of veterans stories on there. We had to stop. Our building was flooded with sewage, so our studio has been out of commission for a while. And I say all that because sometimes people go, you got this great money from the state, you don't need any more money. And I say, that's money that's for construction. But keeping the lights on, paying the bills is a never-ending fundraising requirement. And we're not living, high on the hog, and we're not a big freaking organization that's got a crap load of people. There's, I think, 4 of us right now, and we're trying to manage this whole thing and put this thing together. And it's a great team of the staff that does it, but it's definitely on a shoestring budget. I'd ask you to, we put out a monthly newsletter. Subscribe to the newsletter. It's a great way to stay informed of what we're doing and where we're going. We've got the social media, share our story. Again, groundbreaking, 17 May. Everyone here is invited. Expect to see you there. Come to opening day, which is to be announced. And then, of course, I'm going to ask you to donate. You can buy bricks, you can buy benches, whatever it is. It'll be deeply appreciated, and it will make a positive impact. And it's really about honoring the legacy of Carolina Marines and Sailors and helping us to inspire future generations and to make a positive impact. Like I said, we wouldn't be here without the support of Senator Lazara, and we should just end on thanking him and giving him a standing ovation. So thank you very much, sir.